everyone, welcome to Disclosure with Stride right here on Stride Africa TV. If you've not subscribed to this channel, you are missing on a lot. What have you been doing with your time? You need to make sure you subscribe because this is where we get to disclose, talk about secrets, all the ameba, all the gist, and of course real facts about different things. And today's episode, being episode 4, is so packed. You've not seen my face before, so I need to introduce myself, right? Okay. And I also have amazing people that need to introduce themselves. I'm Olubukola Ajadi, and I'm a broadcast journalist, and I have a very beautiful woman right here that looks, she has such a beautiful smile. This smile is giving everything it should give. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, tell us your name now. I want to say, but I think there's a sauce to when you say your name yourself. So just give it to us.
All right, my name is Adetutu Oshofu. I'm popularly known as Coach Tuske. I'm a
Woo! Did you hear that?
and a marriage counselor.
Say the Coach Tuske again.
Coach Tuske.
Okay, I like the sound of that. It has a vibe to it. Then I have a money man. In the studio today. And he's going to talk like the money man he is.
Good afternoon, everyone. I actually have to increase the volume of my voice so that this woman will not keep.
You have money.
My
you
name is
have
Papa
money.
Tunde Adewale, popularly known as Troubleshooter.
So
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about gender inequalities in marriages.
That's a good one.
And I know that Mrs. Adesi is so excited already because that's probably something you've talked about like so many times.
Yeah.
And I already said it that there's no stiffness in this conversation. We're just chatting about it and looking at the different perspectives to how there have been cases of gender inequalities in marriages, in relationships, in normal friends to friends relationships, maybe a male and a female being friends or even siblings. But of course the focus is on marriage today. Before we got married, we were people, we were friends, we were brothers, we were sisters, we are sisters and friends. So let's just talk about what gender inequality means, how we can link it up with marriage. What are we looking at? And I think I should get Mrs. Aditi because she's going to have this marriage vibes. She'll give us the counselor vibe, and then we will now give our own normal civilians vibe.
Okay, I think basically people misunderstand the concept of gender inequality or gender equality. I've discovered over the years that people basically misunderstand all concepts. People have their personal interpretation of concepts. So for example, when it comes to gender inequality, the way it is presented is that the male and the female are not equal in the sense of they have different rights. They should be treated in different ways. Do you get it?
Yes.
That's what gender inequality is seen to be about, and that's where it is. That's how it is being perpetrated. And if that's the case, it's wrong. But for me, sometimes when I look at the word gender inequality, I look at it as uniqueness of the roles of both parties. And we need to understand that there is a uniqueness in who each person is and in our roles. Do you get it?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we are not equal. It only means we are unique. It is when you begin to treat people in different ways as per their rights and how you are supposed to treat them that inequality comes in, and that's wrong.
I think I feel what you just said. So Babatunde, let's talk about gender inequality from the point of I'm going to be doing I'll be giving a lot of woman activists vibe. Thank God there's a man here so that we would have a very balanced view. So let's talk about the old point of view of how that it almost seems as the way marriage is painted, a woman has to give up more when it comes to marriages. And maybe that's why there's a lot of clamoring on social media, even in relationships and marriages, that there's not like this. Okay, I understand what you said about the fact that, they're different, we're unique. I mean, a man and a woman play side by side. You can even see the unique features. We look different as much as we might look alike. I mean, a woman has features that a man doesn't have, and a man has features that a woman doesn't have. But there's a point of view of, I'm giving up so much more than a man has to give. I mean, from even the setting of a home, you see that a woman has to, as a lady, as a young girl in the family, you probably have to do a lot of cooking, a lot of washing, a lot of tendering. Even before you become a mother, you're already a mother to your brothers and to your father and to everybody in the house and your neighbors. So let's talk about it from the point of view of, do you feel women are giving up way more than men when it comes to marriages? And maybe that's why there's a whole lot of conversation about inequality, gender inequality, social imbalances in marriages.
The truth of the matter is, I appreciate what Madam has said earlier, like making us understand that we should rather change our mindset from, tagging it gender inequality, rather than calling it gender uniqueness. If we understand that concept right, we will not mix it up. Mixing it up has really caused a lot of disaster in the society.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, you see, as a woman, even in the home, like you said earlier, that you have already been practicing like a mother to your brothers, siblings, generally. You see, when in any relationship, even in marriage, what we should like incorporate is what they call fairness. If you are being fair, that is when you can practice the uniqueness in gender.
But there's already like this cultural standard. I mean, you look at a man and you look at a woman, and I said it already. Let me talk about my own self. I'm the only girl. I have 3 brothers, and I remember so clearly that my mom would just make sure that, even if my brothers don't know how to cook or they don't know how to do anything, I'm always with her in the kitchen. We used to fight about it a lot because I was the only girl, and I always wanted to do what my brothers were doing when my mom was cooking. But then I'm a woman rights activist. I always get so angry when my mom would say, "Come to the kitchen, wash the plates. Look at how I'm making egusi soup," which is my favorite soup, by the way. and my brothers are watching or playing games.
But that's mommy's choice.
And that's I should tell you, that's the duty of a man. A man is not supposed to be in the kitchen. A woman is supposed to be in the kitchen.
When it comes to marriage,
Okay.
I tell people that marriage does not have a character of its own. It has no personality of its own. It takes on the nature of the people that are involved in it. So look at you now. I have a son and 2 daughters. My son does exactly every single thing his sisters does in the house. He cooks, he cleans, he washes. There is a timetable for everybody. Why? Because I don't believe in woman's right and I don't believe in man's right. I believe in human rights. Everybody has a right to protection, to fairness, to dignity. Do you get it? The challenge that we have is that our society projects the culture of the people. And the African culture basically does not respect women. Simple. What is happening now with people like myself and Mr. Babatunde is the fact that we are evolving. We are having more information. So for those who are fair and who seeks knowledge, we are now beginning to understand that quite a number of things that is inherent in our culture is actually not right, is not proper. So do you get it? So under normal circumstances, being able to cook, being able to clean your house is not supposed to be a marital principle. It's supposed to be a godly human value system. Why shouldn't a guy be able to wash his clothes and cook?
But then I remember so well that I had a conversation with a friend one time. We're talking about different roles that men can. We're looking at it from the point of physical strength. So in a home, probably you never see a girl washing her father's car or washing a mother's car. It will have to be a guy washing the car. And maybe that's why a lady would rather be cooking or rather be cleaning, probably because of physical strength. I as much as I hate how much the African culture has portrayed this gender imbalance, like a man is the king, a woman is meant to serve the king, there's also the point of view of physical strength. Is that why? Might that be why the African culture is like that? Because
I disagree.
Maybe because a woman cannot draw generator.
My mother raised
I draw generator. I draw generator at my age. I do.
My mother raised me well. I can say that anywhere.
Okay.
You see, when I was young, I have an elder sister. My mother will tell me we used to use this oloata to grind pepper.
Yes.
So when I have a cut on my hand, I'll tell my mother like, won't do me now. She will tell me, use your now. Do you understand? All those things, she has really inculcated a lot of principles, like mentalities that changes this gender inequality. You see, my wife can drive, can draw this pool generator to start. I have a big generator that uses battery. At the point that battery ran off, she uses that rope to drag the generator. So that means you two can just practice what men can do. You see, now the thing is, when you see a man calling his son to wash his car regularly, that does not mean anything. My daughter, 6 years old, will practically be getting bucket that she wants to wash my car. She understands. So all those things, I don't believe in it. I help my wife at home to do some things whenever she's busy.
Okay, let's look at
But the problem I have is this.
Okay.
If a lady, even boys, are not well raised from their home, that is going to be a disaster in future.
Yes.
Take for instance, myself as a guy, I claimed here that my mother raised me well. I'm married now. I have a wife. Now, if my wife
Cannot
is not properly,
There'll be
well
so
raised,
much issues in the
and I
marriage.
do a lot of things for her to assist just because I was well raised, she can actually take that for granted, and she'll be pushing some responsibility over me, like she'll be like,
And you are stressed
you have
up.
to.
Now let's look at this. Is social media painting a very wrong picture of what gender inequality is?
I think what is happening is that people use social media to project who each person is and their experience.
And everybody is now like copying everybody.
You understand? So if you go to my page on social media, you will not see gender inequality because I don't believe in it. I don't talk about it. This is what happens. We use our personal experience as a general yardstick to judge everything. Everybody. So you hear things like men has come, and I'm like, how many men have you related with? So because all the boyfriends you had,
They've been
they
bad.
are bad people, which shows us that you have a problem. Because I keep wondering why you are attracting
Okay.
bad men.
Okay.
Do you get
You're
it?
pointing your finger at me.
Oh, no, it's not you. It's not you. It's not, do you get it? But when women say things like
Yes,
that, I
I
always
feel
tell
you.
them there are about 1 million guys in Ogun State and probably Lagos State alone. You have only had 10 boyfriends. All of them were bad. So because of that, men has come. Seriously, that is your experience. Men are not scum.
To
My
somebody
husband
else.
is not scum. In fact, there's no single scum man in my life. I don't have one.
That's a big flex because
Do you get it?
It's
I
very
don't
hard
have
to
one.
find good men.
You don't know, it's not hard to find good men. There are a lot of good men around. The issue is that women need to open their eyes.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? There's nothing like bad behavior for men or women. Human values is just human values. So what happened with social media is that based on each person's experience, that's what they are projecting on their different pages. So we hear a lot of, inequality here, inequality there. My question is this: you in your own personal
Are you
space,
experiencing-
are you experiencing it? And if you are, why? Is that a result of the people you are moving with? Because birds can fly over your head. It's permitted. The moment they make a nest in your hair, it's your fault.
Okay. I like that one. That's a very, very good point. That's a very, very. Let's look at the workforce.
I'm learning.
I'm learning too because the
you
way
see-
she was pointing at me, I was just like,
If you have
is
to-
something wrong because I'm
You
not
see,
married.
if you
I'm
have
the
to
only
consider-
married
if you have to
person here.
consider the age difference.
Yes.
I think she's old enough to be my mother, if
How
not
bad,
my big
how
auntie.
bad?
So as
Don't
a
say
matter
that
of fact,
one,
as a
though.
matter of fact,
Yeah.
see this social media thing, it has caused a lot of damage.
Problems.
That's true.
Sincerely speaking, see somebody going on social media, in fact that person will be demonstrating as if that person was there when that
it
matter happened.
It's
It has really
amazing.
changed their mentality totally. They cannot even reason on their own.
And I think
is
that word-
a lot of things are happening on social media that is even against common sense.
Yes.
Common sense, can just somebody did this.
Think it
Like
now.
she said earlier, men, good men are out there.
Out there.
It depends on how you present yourself
Yes.
as a woman.
Good men are out there.
Yoruba used to say, "Tí onígbá bá ṣe pé igbá ẹ̀, ló ń bá pè."
tó bá pè
If you have not presented
Wisdom.
yourself well, automatically you are going to be treated like trash. That's it.
That's a very good one. I wanted to talk about the workforce. I've had quite bad experiences when it comes to workforce, like as a woman. So there's a whole lot of respect put on men that work, especially when you look at the white collar jobs. Even as outside of white collar jobs, you could look at other industries like maybe entrepreneurship or whatever you do, maybe whatever skill set you have that places you in a certain industry. So let's talk about how that in the workforce, there's a whole lot more, like I said, a whole lot more respect placed on men than women. And you get to see that, especially for industries that are dominated by men, you get to see that the women are not treated.
At par.
There's like more cases of a boss slapping his secretary that is a female than a boss slapping his secretary that is a male.
Okay.
A man would easily look at a woman that works for him and be like, why would you do that, this and that, and next thing slaps her, than he would a man
male
like
like
himself.
himself.
Probably
Yeah.
because he feels like, she's a woman, I'm a man, I'm King Kong, and she needs to calm down. So let's look at the workforce drama, the old gender inequality from the workforce perspective, how it's happening there.
You see, as people think, so are they. So what happens in the workforce space is that depending on the mindset, the perception, and perspective of whoever is leading there, that's what will determine the atmosphere of what happens there. So if unfortunately the person that is in charge there is patriarchal in nature, is a male chauvinist, and does not believe a woman should be respected, most likely you will have such things prevailing in that kind of an atmosphere. But on the flip side also, I've also discovered that women need to understand that you will not be respected because you're a woman, and you should not be respected because you're a woman. You should be respected because of the value that you are providing.
Value you bring to the table.
Value you bring to the table. So if I'm a CEO in a place and I have 6 men with me and 2 ladies with me, and for whatever reason the work is being more done by the guys, the lady comes late to work and expect me to understand that she's
probably nursing a
baby or something,
yeah.
you know, or stuff like that. And then when we have issues on ground, she doesn't have any intelligent thing to say. She just expects me to respect her because of she has, good body shape and she's looking very beautiful. Now, why on earth should anybody respect her because she's looking good? Do you get it? So I tell women, also up your game. And you will observe that there are quite a lot of women who are doing powerfully well out there. Once you are upping your game, you are good at what you do, you are training yourself. It's a matter of time. You see, everybody gravitates to where they have answers to their problems. Everybody wants solutions. They don't want to know your face. This is a world whereby people gravitate towards results, outcome, outputs. Do you get it? Your counterpart who is a male has gone back to school. He has a master's and a PhD in that field. You are still having an OND there. And then you say, I'm not respected as a woman. Excuse me, wake up. And if you realize that you have all those things and then you are not being respected there, why are you staying there? Move.
I think you have a point.
Value.
You see, when I finished my BSc, I had to push further. I was reading for CISA, that is Certified Information Systems Auditor. You know, when I attend class, I met a lady, young lady. She just finished BSc 2. Like a month before that time, she became a chartered accountant. That lady was actually attending the same lecture with me to get CISA. For your information, we passed that exam at the same time. That lady was even the one that charged me up to go and sit for another one, which is Certified Data Privacy Solutions Engineer, CDPSC. So I have 3 degrees, she has 4.
Wow.
So as a lady, if you don't present yourself like I want to give you reason why you should choose me as your favorite.
Yes.
What are you doing? And right now, a lady that is carrying OND is equivalent. In fact, your OND of 3 years ago is equivalent to SSE.
What are we going to do with that?
So keyword there is value. Add value to yourself.
Now, I asked that question about the workforce because I want us to connect it to marriage.
Okay.
Is it that because as people that work now, I mean, if we compare now to back then, we had more of our mothers were at home, they did the cooking, the cleaning, the washing, and then nobody was talking about, my husband is doing this one, he's not even helping me wash plates, he's not helping me to wash clothes. Can we say it's because there are lots more women like the woman you just spoke about who are working, they have multiple degrees, they have everything there is, they have money. Maybe that's why a lot of ladies are opening their eyes to that. Since I'm doing what you are doing, we're not different anymore. I mean, I work, I earn maybe 7 figures, you earn 7 figures. I even probably have more degrees than you do. And we go to work early in the morning, same time, 8 a.m. I have to resume at work 8 a.m. You have to resume at work 8 a.m. It's not like my parents' dynamic where they had to do things like my mom is at home, she's cleaning and all, and my dad goes to work by 8, comes back in the night by maybe 7 or 8. We do the same thing. We go to work by 8 in the morning and come back by 6 together. So why must I be the one as the woman to cook? No. Why must I be the one as the woman to clean?
No. You see, you need to understand that situation and circumstances doesn't make you to do anything. Situation and circumstances brings to the surface what has always been residual inside of you.
So any woman that is rude to, or
if you are rude to a man, it is not the money that made you to be rude to that guy. You are a rude person. You lack value systems. Do you understand? If you have good value system, your success, your money, your achievements does not change your character. Do you get it? If you are not successful yet, or you don't have money, you understand? It doesn't mean that you are not rude. What happened is that you have not been given the platform to exhibit your rudeness.
Okay.
Do you get it? So what is happening is this. If you are somebody who has, like you said, who was brought up with good value systems, you understand, your standard of life, your views of life, they are godly and they have value. Wherever you get to, it doesn't change. When I got here and I met the boss here, I greeted him respectfully. I didn't say because he was the one that invited me here, so I should talk to him. I didn't sit down in his office until he said, have your seat, ma. We call it courtesy, table manners. Do you get it? So if you have it, it doesn't matter your success in life. But if you have it, the way it will affect your marriage is that it will help you to know the kind of a man that you should marry. Because you will not go to a man who does not share your value systems.
Very accurate.
Do you get it?
Very,
so
very
now,
accurate.
my husband is a medical doctor. I am a counselor and a minister. The two of us are very, very busy. But because we have the same mindset as per the fact that marriage is about two people coming together to help each other. So sometimes when he is busy and I have to cook, so be it. But sometimes when I am busy, are you following me? And nobody cooks and it doesn't feel like cooking also. Very simple. We branch in an eatery and buy food for everybody.
Some men like their food very fresh.
That's why I didn't marry a man like that.
Okay, very solid. Did you hear that? Don't marry somebody that will kill you. And that's something.
Why I didn't marry.
Somebody is already looking at
You
us.
see,
I
That
know
way.
what
I'm only going to add to what
Okay,
you just
okay.
said. You see, the thing is, what you just said now, relating it to marriage, what I believe in is this: men in the house, as the husband, you have your responsibility. The woman also has the responsibility that she's meant to take up. You see, don't mix those things up. The moment you mix it up, that woman will have problem. That man will also have problem.
What do you mean?
Let me
I'd like to know
let me
what
try
you
to
mean.
expatiate. You see,
Okay.
me as a man now, you should I think, but the Bible have said it like an able man should provide for
his
Yeah.
for his family.
Yes.
I'm not a Christian, but that stays.
It talks to your mind.
See, you see, when you leave your responsibility undone, and your wife has to take it up, you as a man, inferiority complex will start setting in. Then you have a problem, and that responsibility that your wife started, putting on herself will kill her. Eventually, you are not an able man. You have given your wife an overwhelmed task, and that is going to kill her. At the end of the day, you are going to be judged for being an unable man. So that's one. Two, I said earlier, don't mix those responsibilities up. It is normal for husband and wife to help each other. Are you with me? So part of responsibility of a woman at home is, okay, keep up the house. Make sure the kids are the well-being of the house. You go out there, go and labor. Make sure your family are okay.
And that's what I'm saying. There's a change in the narrative.
You see, now at the
Think
end of
about
the day,
it. There's a change in the
at the end of the
narrative.
day, anywhere you see your wife like lacking or she needs something, assist. If the woman sees her husband that she needs, at times, if I go home, I take some jobs home. I want to do some proposal. My wife used to assist me. If she's the fashion designer, if she's less busy, she will assist me
Assist you.
in connecting, bringing ideas to package that proposal. That is what we are talking about. If I think she doesn't have anything upstairs, she doesn't have the value to even add anything to my own, then that gender
Inequality will come
setting.
to-
Yes, now.
But you see, that's what I'm saying. Where the problem lies now, and which is what I'm trying to point out, is the fact that women now do the same work. So now you have the own narrative of probably you go out, your wife is a fashion designer, so probably she can split her time so well. But imagine Mrs. Adetutu and her husband. The fact that they are both working people. Probably she has to go to her office in the morning, and then her husband also has to go to the hospital since he's a doctor in the morning, and then they both come back 7 p.m. at night.
So the way
And where the fight starts is when we both come back tired from work by 7 p.m. and
you
we're
see,
sitting together.
what we are not facing is this. The real issue is what is the mindset and perspective of the two of them concerning responsibility.
So are you trying to say that inequality varies? Like
Of
what
course.
you call equality and inequality varies in like
it
different
varies
homes?
from people to people, because as you think, so are you. Do you get it? Particularly when it comes to marriage. Your marriage is a projection of the mindset of both of you. For
Correct.
example, let me bring a twist to what he said now, as per the man being the person that has to provide. So what happens if your husband is even a marvelous man who has been providing very well? 5 years into the marriage, he loses his job. Does that mean he's no more a man?
No?
Should that make you to stop respecting him? And it is very, very possible for him to lose that job. I know men, I'm a counselor. I know men who lost their job, and for another 3 to 4 years, they are still trying to get another one. They are still running up and down trying to make ends meet. And quite a greater part of the finances of that family has to fall on that woman. So excuse me, does that mean he is no more a man? So what makes him a man, basically, do you get it, is not the money in his pocket. Do you get it? Is the responsibility in his mind. Because it is very possible for a man to have a lot of money and he won't put a dime down. I've also met men like that. Meaning that it's not about the fact that he has money. It's about the fact that he understands that as a man, I should provide. So if I have, I provide. But if the wife also understands that the reason why I am with this man is to help him. Do you understand? The meaning of help is that you have enough capacity to do whatever it takes to assist that person. So I tell people it's very wrong to say a woman is a weaker vessel. There is nothing weak about a woman, because for you to be able to help means you are either as strong as that man
or even stronger.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So the reason why the lady is working, do you get it? It's not just because she wants to make money or she wants to compete with a man. Do you get it? People don't work to make money. People work because they must provide value. They must be productive. They must have a vision and a dream and a purpose. Do you get it? So she's working not just because she wants to make money and compete with her husband. She's working because she has a dream of her own. She has a vision of her own. She needs to progress in her career. Because she's providing value, she will definitely make money. Now that she's now making that money, where problem comes in is the mindset of both of them. Do you get it? So that's why I tell people that before you marry, discover your purpose first. Discover your vision first. Why? It is your purpose and your vision that will determine the kind of man or woman that you can marry and that can live with you. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So if the two of you have similar, look at what I'm talking about now. Let's assume that okay, the man is providing this, doing all that. Even if the man still has the money to provide, what is wrong in that lady asking her husband, okay, out of all the things that is on ground, which one can I take over? You are paying the school fees, can I pay for the children's lessons?
But will the man be able to say, come back home one day and be like, babe, out of all the house chores you have, you have to do, which one can I help you with? Will a typical Nigerian man do that?
A lot of Nigerian men do that. Do you get it? A lot of Nigerian men do that. This is the fear of men, which is what he was talking about. Do you understand? The average man believes that if I help my wife in the house, eventually she will take it as a right and pour everything on me. So I begin to do everything in the house and she will relax and believe that it's my work now. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But this is how I answer them. That is a mindset.
That has to be changed.
That has to be, and it is not inside marriage that you change it.
Even coming from the angle of a man, a young man that is single.
Yeah.
If you have to be reminded that you're living in a rented apartment,
it should be cleaned.
So now you have to be reminded by your co-tenant or your landlord that you are yet to pay your NEPA bill, or you are yet to clean your house. If you have a family, you are not going to be responsible.
Wow.
Because the responsibility, you don't have to be reminded. Responsibility, like, is something that should be in your
heart. Like you should
do it. Even though, like I said earlier, women, you may assist them today.
Tomorrow they want you to
tomorrow if you don't assist them, they'll be like, there's nothing you are doing for me in this house.
It's sweet, you get it.
That's how it is.
If the two of you are not unable to do it, it's very possible you are unable to do it.
Yes.
Outsource.
Some men don't believe in outsourcing.
And you see, that's what I'm saying. Why does he not believe in outsourcing? We need to trace the root of people's behavior. Why does he not believe in outsourcing? So you know the nature of the work of your wife, that she could really be very stressed.
So wait,
you have 2 children.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And the nature of her work is that she could be stressed. You two are not often available to help her. Should common sense not tell you to outsource some of the work?
So are we trying to say that the reason a lot of people are clamoring that there is gender inequality in their marriage is probably because they never discuss certain things from the very start?
Yes, they don't have the proper mindset. They don't have
the same thought process.
Yes.
So they are
Look, I say something. The round socket and the square plug, they are not bad. They just don't fit. They just don't fit. Do you get it? So if I don't have the same value system, for example, I would know there are men that believe that their wives must not work. Man is not bad. I am just not his wife.
Because you have something
I
you
have
need
a
to
totally different idea of who a woman should be. It's not about money for me, it's about purpose. But you see that kind of a man, he has his wife. There is a lady somewhere that sincerely before not telling. You understand? She wants to stay at home
or God's wife
of the house.
Yes.
Let's even talk about singles. Do you know there are single ladies who sincerely believe that the guy they are going out with is their ATM machine?
Yeah.
Part of his responsibility is to take over all our finances. She's not responsible. He is not her husband.
That lady doesn't even have value for herself.
She doesn't have value for herself. He's under no obligation.
I mean, you don't want to spend money.
No,
take bro.
It's not about spending money. You see, if he spends money on her, it's because of love, not because that's his responsibility. Her father, she's her father's responsibility and her own responsibility. They are not married. So giving to her, taking care of her and stuff like that, he's expressing love. Just like a single man shouldn't be going out to the lady and then expect me to be coming to your house and then cooking food and cleaning, and then you are measuring my yard of material of wifey. Excuse me? No. Why should I come to your house? Did I even come in the first place?
If you not subscribe to this channel,
that those mindsets are the same mindsets that people bring into marriage. And listen, character are seeds. When you plant a seed, it's not a seed that comes out of the ground, it's a tree. So what happens with people is that people don't understand that marriage creates an atmosphere whereby your character becomes magnified, multiplied, and bigger.
And maybe that's why a lot of people be like, she's not the person.
He now said it didn't change. The person matured into the tree of the seed
they've planted.
Woof! That's what happened.
I'm really loving this conversation, and if at this point you've not hit that notification button, now wow, you don't like good things. I love good things, so make sure you subscribe and continue watching this and share the link to somebody so they can hear everything that Mrs. Adetitu Tuski. Did I get that correct? Hey, giving vibes. So we're still talking gender inequalities here on Stride Africa TV, and I'm Olukola. I have Tech Bro here. I'm going to call you Tech Bro. You don't have a choice.
Yes,
and of course, Tuski giving us vibes. So let's talk about decision making. Okay. Now, like it or not, what I saw from my parents was a lot of my dad saying, "This is what we are going to do," and my mom says, "Yes, let's do it. This is how we're going to do it." No, they had an amazing marriage, till my dad died. God bless his soul. But now things are changing. For me, I'm a very vocal person. If a man comes to me, and because I know what I want, I think I've really placed a lot of value into me to know that I can offer value, suggestions, ideas if we're trying to make decisions in a home. But then there's this idea, there's this concept already, which is why I think a lot of ladies and men are shouting that there's gender inequality. The fact that it is said that a man is the head of the home, and so he is meant to come up with majority. I mean, if we call someone head of the department, that means he's probably the one that gives the final yes or no. Yeah. Okay, buy this thing. We are not buying this tech product. You are buying this tech product. So every other person can just give suggestions and he can say, no, we're not doing this. And you have to say, okay,
that's fine.
So I think that's why there's a lot of inequality, because as a woman who has put a lot of value into herself, she has studied, she has read, she has traveled, she has experiences. I want a man to understand that as much as he's a smart man, I have a lot that I can bring to the table. I'm not an olodo. I'm not a Oga wife that doesn't have anything to bring. I'm not only going to bring in my cooking skills to our marriage. Okay. I'm bringing my brains, I'm bringing my ideas, my experiences into the marriage. And I want to be respected as a woman in the marriage. Don't you think that's why there's a lot of clamor about gender inequality?
Let's start.
Oh yeah.
You see,
they're making decision.
Yes. Decision maker. Odogu.
You see, you cannot call us decision makers.
Okay. A lot of men will not agree with what you just said.
Women are meticulous.
Okay.
And they are brilliant. Yes. If you take a woman
clap now.
in the process of making decision, there is tendency that you are going to fail.
Yeah.
So if I want to do a lot of things now, I'll just gather it. I'll tell my wife about it. Even I have sisters that are very intelligent.
Very smart.
If I discuss with my sisters, like, I want to try something like this.
What do you think?
But that jadi, don't do it this way. Try it this way. I will now pick from their opinion.
And then
I'll gather it. I will have to it. And by the time I finish that thing, if maybe a project or something, it's going to come out excellently well. You see? So that is why you must not just, demonstrate or or parade yourself as the decision maker.
King
Like
Kong.
whatever you say comes to stay. No, it cannot be like that. There was a time I advised my wife, like, the way you are doing this, why don't you do it this way? She was able to prove to me that I was wrong in a very civilized way, and I have to agree. Okay, I said, the man ego there.
Yes,
like, but if eventually to battle, but deep down in me, I realized that she was saying something that is very sensible.
Yes.
I had to agree.
A lot of men are not
As far as I'm
Mr.
concerned,
Babatunde.
see, that is why we said the problem has to be traced to somewhere.
Yes.
I once told people I never pray for a male child. I have 2 beautiful girls.
And it's fine.
That's the truth. Because
We don't have a lot of Mr. Babatunde in the world. Very few
of them are there, my dear.
I disagree. Okay. At this point, we're gonna be taking a break here. If you just happen to find yourself on this podcast, this is the best podcast to listen to. I mean, we've been talking about gender inequality, and I cannot wait for us to fledge this idea. Like this whole thing, we will drag it. Me and Mr. Babatunde, we will drag it very well. And of course, Suski is in the building. This is Stride Africa TV. We are still here. Now let's start off with okay. Let's look at this scenario. A woman always has to move when it comes to marriages. So let's say, for example, I'm dating someone that lives in Lagos. I'm in Ibadan. I have a job here. I've been building my career for years in Ibadan, especially in radio. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting married, and I have to be the one to quit my job. I have to be the one to drop everything, forget my friends in Ibadan, and move all the way to Lagos to a new environment entirely because I'm getting married. Isn't that to be considered as gender inequality? Why can't the man be the one to quit his job and come over? In like 100 cases, you'd only see maybe 2 or 1. Maybe that's if the man doesn't even have a job before in the Lagos. That's when he would decide to come. But in almost every cases, if not all cases, the woman has to be the one to pack her bags and leave her friends, leave everybody, and move to probably the other part of the world or the other part of the country because of you. And I think that that's a very, very big scenario of gender inequality at play in marriages.
It depends on both of them, because that is part of what they should have discussed before the marriage. Were they not thinking? Do you get it? It also depends on a lot of factors. So let's pick a factor like income. So let's assume that the guy is a teacher who is earning, let's say, 45,000 naira a month, and she is working in a company and her salary is about 300 to 500,000 naira per month. I want to believe that if that man has an iota, just a little bit of common sense in his head, he should know that she's not the one that should leave the job.
But a lot of men would not.
You need to stop
they
that.
will not agree.
No. Don't be saying a lot of men. I keep saying it over and over again. When we say a lot of men, it simply means out of 500,000 men in Ibadan, I have dealt with 250,000, and the 250,000 of them said no. Do you get it? It's just a mindset. Do you understand? So you see, there are factors that must be involved before you take such decisions. Every decision in life has to be taken with so many factors in place. Do you get it? So for example, the guy is in Lagos, she's in Ibadan, true. But for whatever reason, that work in Ibadan is earning her like 6 times his salary. And he's in Lagos, and then they want to get married. If she is going out with a sensible guy who has purpose, who has understanding, who has vision, he is never, I can assure you, he is never going to ask her to leave a job of 350,000 naira for them to come and be doing a job and living on 40,000 naira.
Mr. Babatunde is here. So let's imagine that tomorrow now your wife gets a contract for a year or 2 years, or let's say 5 years contract to probably produce clothes for a particular brand in Lagos, or let's say in Anambra.
They're already married. They don't need to move.
Probably she's, that deal is going to change her life. Probably she's going to earn like millions of naira, the kind of money that probably both of you joined together have never earned before. Would you gladly pack your bag and go with her?
Don't stress yourself. That figure is enough for me to compromise.
Who is the sensible man that will not compromise?
I really want men to comment in the comment section. I want to hear what men think about this.
Everything still boils down to fairness.
It's fairness.
How could you have even imagined your wife to lose that contract because
a lot of men will gladly let's be honest.
That man is not reasonable.
No, a lot of men will not
man.
do that. You understand? A lot of unreasonable men will do that. Do you get it?
Okay.
Call them boys.
Yes.
Call them boys.
I call
not
them
men.
bouncing baby boys. If I don't call them men, they are boys. You know why? In fact, the case of marriage is better because in the case of marriage, you know they're already married and then she got that contract. All a sensible man will do is release her for those times. Omo, go and do the work. Make the 50 million. Come back home. Because it's possible for him to have gotten a job in US. Will she not release him? She will release him too. We have cases like that she will release him for 5, 6, 7 years.
Do you think a man will willingly release his wife for 5 years to go and pursue a
In
career?
my own case, I would rather release my wife
I
and
don't
even be there to celebrate my wife.
Yes, it's
Achieving
a mindset.
success.
Do you get
Mindset.
it? It's a mindset. The next question they should ask, that's why I said these things are factors. The next question they should ask each other is that, are we the kind of a couple that can stay apart for 5 years? Because, for example, we are talking about money. You seem to have forgotten that sex is also involved. So, when you are taking decisions in marriage, do you get it? You need to put parameters on the table and use those parameters vis-a-vis the mindset, the perception, and the nature of both of you to determine. Do you understand? So, let's say, leave money. One of them wants to travel for 5 years. It's possible for the husband to say, excuse me, my wife, after 3 years thereabout, wherever either of the two of us are, somebody has to come home because I don't think I can stay away from sex for more than 3 to 4 years.
Even traveling out
Even
outside
out
the
of-
country does not stop you.
stop
It's
that.
typical.
You get it? You
Doesn't
should
stop
know.
you from-
So immediately you decided together, and since you're on the same page, so the issue is this: two should not go on a journey except they're in agreement. Compatibility is a non-negotiable factor for marriage,
And it is key.
and it's key. And compatibility is not shared gifts, shared talent, shared opinion. No, compatibility is about shared core values. That is, our way of thinking is very much alike. So let's say I'm working in an oil company in Port Harcourt and they are paying me 1.5 million naira per month, and I'm going out with this guy who is earning 50,000 naira per month. In fact, that I went out with him at all shows that I respect him. If I don't have value system, I should say that
you're not-
seriously,
You're not on the same category.
But for me to go and receive it means that I respect him as an individual. I respect who he stands for, and I know that because he's earning 50,000 naira now does not mean we'll continue to earn that for the rest of his life. I can see the diamond in the charcoal that is in front of me because I have eyes. I can see. So we're not about to marry. Number one, before that marriage, we should begin to talk. This is my job, this is your job, what are we going to do about it? Under normal circumstances, if it's a sensible man, he will tell you, let us move to Port Harcourt. When we get to Port Harcourt, it's either I get another job in Port Harcourt or we start a business that I can do in Port Harcourt until I get the kind of a job that I'm looking for.
But I'm saying again, a lot of men,
Yeah.
Mr. Babatune might be here and he might agree, but I think a lot of men would not agree easily to these things
What
you're
makes you
saying,
think-
and that is
why?
why
What
we are
makes you think
having
so?
all the issues that we hear stories every day. We see things happening with people a lot of times.
Let's analyze that story, for example.
Yeah.
I am a relationship coach. I'm an online person. Do you get it? I hear stories every time. And in each of those stories, every time I say the same thing. The people that are saying these stories, we need to check their common sense because they lack it. And the reason why they lack common sense is very, very simple. For every one of those stories that you are telling me, I always call them stories that touch the heart and kidney. Excuse me, the signs were there before she married the man. Why are you coming to tell me that the man did anything to you? While you are dating him, his views about life, the way he treats you, has been clear that he's chauvinistic. You are the one that thought that marriage was an evangelism tool or a rehabilitation center. You married him to change him. Do you get it? He now refused to change inside that marriage or it became worse. Then you went online, then you are telling stories. Okay, let me give you an example. You are going out with a guy. While going out with him, 4 of you are competing. He is the trophy. The 4 of you are competing for him. Eventually, you won the competition. You understand? And then you married your trophy. And then after that marriage, he started cheating around. Then you came back online and said that you don't know what happened. Your husband is cheating and you love him so much. And I'm like, why should he not cheat? Was he faithful when he was dating
He
you?
shouldn't have allowed you to compete in the first place.
Should you compete in the first place? And then you now come and say, all men are not like that. The men that you chose to go out with are like that. Women need to wake up and stop making sentimental and emotional decisions with life. A man is going out with you, he abuses you and your mother a little bit. You understand?
It is a little bit for me.
Pushes you against the wall a little bit.
Just
you now married him and then you say there's domestic violence. Now, what was supposed to happen before?
But are there no cases of men that never showed any tendency to that they would beat, they would curse or anything like that, and all of a sudden?
I have been doing this work for 27 years. I'm yet to meet one.
So they always show tendency.
The signs are always there. I am yet to meet one.
To buttress our point, the lady is not sensitive.
She's not sensitive. My brother,
you cannot hide forever.
You see, I'm just handling the case before entering here now. It's not that most ladies are not sensitive. Most ladies saw it. Do you get it? Two things is wrong with women, and it's back to what we are talking about. Women were brought up to believe that the reason why God created them is marriage. They were born for marriage, and marriage is the ultimate achievement for a woman. A woman that is not married has achieved nothing with her life. Do you get it? So when ladies begins to grow up, everything they're doing is geared towards marriage. In fact, her mother is training her in preparation for marriage.
For her husband's
The reason
house.
why she wants her to cook well is because of her husband's house. So when you meet a lady who is in her late 20s and early 30s and there's no man in her life, she believes she's sick. She needs to get a man at all costs.
Or is it a wrong thing to want a man? To seek companionship?
There is a difference between seeking companionship and seeking companionship because I believe that I am incomplete.
Okay.
There are two different things. There's a difference between loneliness and aloneness. Aloneness simply means there is nobody around me. Loneliness means there is a void inside of me that I am looking for something to feel, and I think a man will feel it. No, he will not. It is purpose that will feel it. Do you get it? So what happens with a lot of ladies is that they saw those signs in that guy. The issue is that if I let him go,
who's gonna come?
Who will come again? Mawa Lele. So let's manage him. I will change him.
Because they are desperate.
They are desperate. He will change after marriage. Then the next thing she even does actually is to get pregnant for an irresponsible man, hoping that by turning him into a father, he will be responsible. Do you see that it's because of common sense?
Let's look at change of names.
Yeah.
A lot of women are getting to a point, especially learned women who are very very particular about how far they go in terms of their intellect, the books, the certificates, the degrees. They're starting to get to a point where or it has been an ongoing conversation for years, let's be honest. A lot of women are like, why do I have to change my name for you? Why can't you as the man change your name for me? I mean, we know in some countries it is practice like that. The man is the one that changes his name, or the man already knows that you can choose to hold on to your father's name, and whenever you decide to, you can add his name, or maybe.
To me, there is no difficulty in this matter. We have to put into consideration the local law. For a lady that has gathered a lot of certificates in her father's name, and the situation is warrant her to change her name to her husband's surname, she can do that. Don't forget there's a compensating control in place that you can do, make provision for something like affidavit to back it up. Even if you are submitting just papers somewhere, they will know that the reason why you are changing your name is because of marriage. That shouldn't be a big deal.
But
you see a lot of people that they will, even after adding their husband's name, they will still have their father's name at the end of the whole thing.
Yes, it's true. But we're saying the same thing. It looks like there's a whole lot of favoring that goes on with the male gender. Like they get favored the most.
It's a matter of perception. The first question you should ask is this: why don't I want to change my name? You see, there has to be purpose for everything. When purpose is lost, abuse is inevitable.
Because this, okay.
So if the reason why you are not changing your name is because I don't want to be cheated, that's your purpose. Why you're not changing your name? I want to prove a point that if he cannot change his name, are you following me? Why should I change my name? So the problem of such a lady is insecurity. Because the reason why you are not changing your name is not because there is a cogent reason. You just want to prove a point. Now, I say it every time. Authenticity does not need much proving. If something is original, you don't need to fight over it. So if you say, I am not changing my... So let's take somebody like Jolade, for example. There are people that bears compound name. So let's take a lady that before she got married, her name has been established. Let's assume that I'm still single now. The name Oshof, let's assume that if I'm still single, I will have been Elegbede. So my name would have been Adetutu Elegbede. Now, my name presently has almost become a trademark for me.
For you.
Everybody calls me that. You understand? That's so if I was single, that would be my name. So let's say I got married next year. Most likely, I will change my name to Adetutu Elegbede Oshofowura.
But you know some men will not agree to that.
And I keep saying it that if you married such a man, it's not the fault of the man. We should ask you why you are blind. Do you get it? Because you are not supposed to marry somebody who does not share your value system. And how you will know that a lot of men, even in Nigeria, do not mind is that I hope you know we have a lot of very popular ladies that retained that name and nothing happened to their marriage. So that means we have men who can take it. You are the one that should now ask yourself the question: the man that I want to marry, does he share my opinion about things like this? Because when he was going out with me, he knew that my name has already become an institution. He knew everybody invites me because of that name. Do you get it? So if I met a man who has my kind of understanding, in fact, he does not even mind if you don't put, look at Joke Silva. If you don't even put his own name behind the name, you are still bearing your father's name there. He doesn't care. And we have a lot of them, even in this country, that are like that.
But some people, I really want us to, let's be very practical. Let's agree on this. A lot of people pretend.
No, I will not agree.
I want to consider you the mouthpiece of those ladies out there. In the sense that even you are putting all those questions out in a very antagonistic way with a skeptical mind. You see, the truth of the matter is, here that I am learning. That is the truth of the matter. Yes. Apart from the fact that myself as a man, I represent other men out there, because if you hear other men out there, even if some people say men has come, consider me one of them. Are you with me? So the truth of the matter is, in any relationship, marriage, fairness is key. You have to be fair. If you are not, there will always be disagreements.
So it's a choice to go out. You see, what I don't like and I will never agree with is the fact that, okay, when you say many men are like this, then you should be able to accept that many women are gold diggers. Many women are loose and they use their body to collect money from men. Do you agree with that?
Are we not going to consider that too?
Why are you quiet?
I would not want to say many women are loose.
Why?
Maybe I would say some women are loose.
Beautiful. So just
then
like
you should
you
say
said,
some men are
like that.
Now what I'm why I can say many men for this is because if you look at it from where we're coming from, as in our cultural background, you would know that most of these things you're talking about, they are not exactly harmful or wrong things.
No, they are not harmful.
Like, for example, a man saying, take my surname is not exactly a wrong thing.
It's not. That's what
a
I'm
man saying, I want you to, I want to be the decision maker. It might not exactly be a harmful thing.
Yes.
But we're not talking about the modernization, the fact that, okay, we've gathered a lot of knowledge, our eyes are open, and so we can easily see that, okay, things can be done differently.
No, if your eyes are open and things will be done differently, whatever difference you are bringing to it must be productive. You just don't do things differently because things are done differently.
And that should not destroy your value.
That should not destroy your values. Do you get it? You see, when we are saying this, even in the olden days and ancient times, there are a lot of men at that time that allows their wife to take decisions. A lot of men. Do you get it? Most of these things that we talk about are stereotypes. Do you get it? And it's all about mindset. And mindset differs based on so many factors like upbringing, opinion, enlightenment. So even in the days of our father, that we are saying that, oh, in those days, he's a man that takes decisions and whatever he says must be done, even if the lady is not comfortable about it or agrees with it. Yes, it's more common in those days. But even in those days, we do have cases of men who are not like that, who allows their wives to take decisions. Do you get it? The question I asked today's lady is that, how many of you were an adult 60 years ago to know all the men in those days and how they run their homes? You don't know. You are just assuming. Do Do you get it? The second thing we need to face is the fact that, let me be frank with you, a lot of our parents' marriages and grandparents' marriages were not happy.
I agree.
Because, you see, a successful marriage is not measured by how long. It is measured by how happily long. And like I say, because a place is quiet doesn't mean it is a peaceful place.
True.
Because both the graveyard and the garden are quiet places. Nobody likes the quiet of the graveyard. What happened with a lot of our grandparents and parents was that the mother in that house is miserable. But two factors. Number one, she does not even know she has a right to anything. She wasn't brought up to believe she has any right. So whatever was happening to her was acceptable to her. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Now, don't forget that since we agree that mothers were like that.
Yes.
So there are men that grew up with such mothers who
Yes.
have such mentalities. They are not exactly bad people, but they just believe that
Like that.
this is how I saw my mother and my father do this, and they've been
So that
together
is
for
okay.
100 years or 80 years.
Yes.
So it is not a big deal.
But don't forget that those men too, they had that background, but they went to school. They have guys like him as classmates and as friends. Do you understand? And everything can be learnt and unlearnt. So quite a number of such men who has such background do not even believe in what their parents are doing anymore, because they have encountered new knowledge. They have seen other men in their lives with different perspectives, and they have realized that those perspectives are working. They make them better men.
Which is enough to change
Which
their
is
mind.
enough to
Only a
change
foolish
their
man cannot
mind.
have it.
Only a foolish man will not listen. And I agree with you, we do have quite a number of them who do not change. What I am saying is that for you to say many or all means that a statistical experiment has been performed. And we have realized that out of 1,000 men, 800 of them are like that. Do you understand? But if I alone, do you know the number of men in my life at this stage of my life? If I alone can tell you that in my immediate space, I don't have any man who is like that. I don't. In my immediate space. And I'm just one woman. Then there must be a lot of men out there, do you get it, who have such good ideas. The challenge of women often is that many times what women look at to accept a man is quite different. So a lot of ladies, they see a good guy, good value system, good thinking, intelligent. His problem and crime is that he does not have a car.
Lots of shots fired in this episode.
So she left him alone
oh my gosh.
to pick the car guy who
Hey.
is driving a jeep, who lacks values, who is controlling, who does not respect women. She now picked him because of his jeep.
She's speaking a disaster.
She said she's speaking a disaster.
So after she now married him and he now grew into the tree of that nature,
See.
she comes online and wants my heart and kidney to be touched. Exactly why? Because while interviewing her, I knew that when she was in school, there was a guy who had wonderful value system. The only problem of him is that he has not blown yet, and she could not wait for him to blow.
The more reason why I don't pity people that come online to come and share.
Let's
unnecessary
address
stories.
Wow.
this issue.
I don't
So you don't
pity
pity anybody.
I don't pity people.
You don't believe that
I
some
pity some
people
of
are-
them, but all of them is their fault.
I don't pity people.
Well, you need to you probably need to just let us know if you think that you need to let us know if you think that it is actually the women's fault. Maybe most of the gender inequalities we're seeing, maybe what Tuski said is true, Mrs. Adetutu. Maybe she spoke from the point of view of if you are experiencing inequality, it's probably because you married someone that did not believe in your value system. Yeah, and that's why you're in what you're in. But right now, we're going to be wrapping up this episode. Thank you so much. Don't forget to follow, like this video, and share. Make sure you share with your friends and hit the notification button, because another episode will be coming on board real soon. I'm Olukola Ajadi. I had the privilege of chatting and talking to Tuski. I will call it Tuski because I like it. It's giving a very young, sweet vibe. And of course, Tech Bro in the building, giving us money man energy. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
And of course, it's a wrap.